Hey guys, Ian Almasi here from Immigration Finder. I want to shoot this quick video for you because I know it's a really common topic. How do I work with a marketing company? It's actually a question we get a lot when we talk to people. So I want to share 7 tips to working with a marketing agency because I feel like a lot of people when they start working with one, maybe it's their first time or they've worked with other ones, they're not quite used to how they do things, and every company's a bit different, and also for marketing companies, every client's a bit different too. So one thing you really want to do when you are working with a marketing company is define your desired result is the number one. So first off, it's really common that you just hire a marketing company, you're really, really excited for it. You just think that in general it's going to oh, this is really going to blow up my business, it's going to build everything. When really there are marketing companies that are just going to be making you videos and branding and building you a website, and then there are more direct response marketing, which is more things that are directly attuned to a sale. Like you put $1 in, you get $3 out, $4 out, whatever the number happens to be. So define your desired result. It's like, hey, am I looking for a prettier website? Do I want more leads? Do I want more sales? Do I need to make a sale within the first 3 weeks of working with this guys to be successful? And that's really kind of something that's very, very important is deciding what that is. And more money isn't really a goal. It needs to be very clear. We're like, hey, we'd like to be taking on 4 more cases a month by the end of Q3 is a perfect goal. So certain things like that. The one thing you also want to do with this is write it down, and that needs to be a clear objective that both the marketing company and the company that's working with it can understand. Like we work with immigration lawyers, but if whatever niche you're in, this is really, really important to define. So the next one is have clear deliverables too. So it's really common where you start working with somebody, and when you're new, you have that initial kickoff conversation, and then 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years goes by, and then really just what you remember's changed, and there's a good chance there's probably a few little tasks that this company will do for you, and vice versa, that are going to kind of get in the way of the original conversation. So have really clear deliverables as far as hey, this is our ad budget, this is how many leads we want, this is when we're going to deliver by, and also have clear deliverables of what the marketing company is expecting from you and your staff, because they're likely not going to be involved in the sales process at all of you actually calling them. So for example, if you say hey, we're going to have staff that are going to be able to call all of our leads within a certain amount of time, make a point to do that, track that. It's really important, which leads us to one of our next things, which is track your stats. So obviously, your stats are incredibly important, and when you're working with a marketing company or any type of data-based work, for example, and marketing can be very broad. Like for example, you can hire a direct mail company, you can hire a Google advertiser, you can hire a company like ours that sets up supplemental automation. I mean, we do ads and automation for companies. But I mean, it can be very different. I mean, just for example, you could hire a videographer, and that could count as marketing, when really you're just making a very nice video for your business. So there's not going to probably be a direct attribution of sales to that video unless you run it as a YouTube or a Facebook ad or somewhere else online. So tracking your stats is going to be really important because that's what's going to tell the marketing company that you're actually doing the work. Because for example, every marketing company and every business is that, hey, we're getting bad leads, but bad leads, there's not really that, they need to be quantifiable. I've had people tell me, oh, hey, you're getting us really bad leads, but then we go back and look and inside our system, we're okay, you have 50 unanswered text messages, 30 people called you back, and these aren't made up numbers over the course of a week, and you haven't gotten back to them. It's we're listening to call recordings, and for the most part, they're just really quick 3-minute calls, or the staff members are just kind of rushing them off the phone. So track these stats. So that's how many emails you send, text messages, calls you make. This is really, really important, because that way the marketing company needs to know it. Because that's the thing, though, is there's the data of the marketing, which is how many people saw the ad, how many people clicked, how many people put their info in, how many people booked an appointment if you have an appointment booking widget, or if or how many people actually opened the email they got if they downloaded an ebook or something. So it's important to track, and that stuff's really easy to just look at online. The stuff they're going to have a hard time tracking is the stuff from the staff or from you in particular if you're a business owner, is it's really like those things, and that's the stuff that's way more valuable than that. And that's the thing, though, is that's the whole spectrum. Is their half of it is this, and then the second half of it, the sales, the calling people, getting back to them, is really the responsibility of the business owner. But a lot of the times, the marketing agency has to shoulder that because, like, if there's any issue on your business's end, it usually gets blamed on them. So track your stats. It's a really good way to hold your team accountable. We actually had a teammate somewhere we were working that was saying it's like, oh, I send about 100 emails a day. We actually actually checked their server and everything, and they were sending between like 12 and 25 emails a day. And granted, that person probably thought they were sending so many because they had so much activity going on, when really at the end of the day they were doing about like 40 or 50% as much work as they thought it was. They were just responding to a lot of distractions. So tracking is really going to help that, and it's really going to help you realize like which part of your campaign's working and not, and which part of your campaign is not just working, but which part of your campaign does your staff like the most? And that's something really important too. Good way to get people on the same page. So number 4, that kind of leads to talking about the staff, is inform your staff of expectations of them. It's really common, like when we work with companies, that we'll talk to the boss, we'll tell them the expectation, be like, hey, it's going to be X and X, like whatever the expectation is, like, hey, it's a 4 to 6 day setup. After that, like your staff's going to be expected to call people fairly quickly. We're going to be generating, inbound calls and then auto-connected calls called force calling. We use a system called High Level for it. But just kind of tell them about that. And a big thing too is give the staff some time to get used to it, which is like something really, really valuable. Is like it takes time to change. Obviously, like usually the marketing company you're working with doesn't know any of your staff members yet, and it's really important to make them feel appreciated, because at the same time, if they kind of resent the work that they're doing towards the marketing and whatever else you're doing, it's really going to harm like the success of the campaign, because their default's going to probably be to say like, oh yeah, these leads are no good, this isn't working, like I don't want to do this anymore, when really like we've ran marketing campaigns, and I'm not saying like it's impossible to get bad leads and everything, but for example, like when like the example we shared earlier, when I logged into our CRM system, we have a hosted CRM we let people use, and there were about 50 missed phone calls from a client we did. We did a win-back campaign for them. So we took, a database and did some voicemail outreach, texting, dialing. And, we'd gotten, about 50 unanswered text messages back. And then there were about 30 inbound phone calls that we could see were never answered or picked up by anybody. So, that's 80 interested contacts. And, some of those were the same people, but, it's 80 times that, your business was contacted. And really, the staff member can say, oh, these leads were no good, it wasn't worth my time. But then the marketing agency has heard that a million times from different staff members, and they get really skeptical. Like, I was hanging out in one of my staff members' offices once, and a lead came in. It was an immigration office. And, the particular description on there, like, one of the salespeople said, oh, that person's probably some Nigerian prince or something, I'm not going to call him, and just blew it off. And that was, if I remember, lead cost was about $30 for that particular lead source and everything. And that's where a lot of marketers' heads goes. It's like, hey, like we've dealt with this before, where there's a good chance if they're saying it's bad lead quality that they didn't take them through a consistent sales process. So talk to your staff, inform them of the expectations. Also let the staff kind of tell the marketer like, hey, this is what I'm expecting. This is my current workload. This is how much bandwidth I have, because it's pretty common that the boss just wants to make more money and just hands more work off to his staff, and it really isn't beneficial for them. So as far as that goes, it's really important to involve them in the process, and it also makes it feel a lot more appreciated too. They actually have a say in it and everything, and it's it makes a big difference when they're actually part of the process. And also at the same time, you really want that feedback, which leads back to number 3 is track your stats, as they're the ones that are going to have to actually do that. And so number 5 too, this is don't spend your last money. So it's I've done this before where people pay me the last few grand they have and everything. And granted, I'm not saying you shouldn't invest in yourself, but there's a good chance that if you spend like the last $5,000 you have, or $10,000 you have, or even $500 you have, that you're going to be way too stressed out to actually close these leads, because no one wants to talk to someone needy or desperate on the phone. Granted, I'm not saying you should invest in your business. There's definitely been times where I spent my last money on marketing and business stuff, and thankfully that's the past. And I'm not saying that hasn't happened. There are tons of people that spend their last $500 on Facebook ads and end up becoming e-commerce millionaires. My advice is don't spend your absolute last penny on marketing because for one, you do need a discretionary spend in your business, and then the other thing too is you don't want working with the company to stress you out because there's nothing the marketing company can do to change the sales cycle of the business. And online leads are going to have a longer sales cycle because they need more time to trust you. They don't know you. They're going to need reviews. They're going to need to talk to you a little bit more than a referral or a walk-in or someone that has been watching your YouTube videos for a while. So that's kind of my advice. If for whatever reason you have enough money to invest and it would kind of stress you out, just talk to the marketing company about it. They may or may not have some lower price options that might be better fit for you. And a really good thing you can do too is actually use organic marketing to supplement paid marketing. So for example, you having a YouTube channel and a blog and posting on Quora are three really great things that when people go to your website from a Google ad or see a Facebook ad of yours or they see you saying a video like, hey, these are what are 5 ways to get a green card on YouTube, and you're trying to get people to come to your site, when they look you up, that organic marketing is really going to help. That's not really the whole don't spend your last money thing, but it's kind of just be prepared for stuff because realistically you don't want to be stressed out working with a marketing company. You're likely going to blame them. There's a good chance they've dealt with this before where it's hey, we did all this work. We've tracked the stats of your staff. A lot of marketing companies, including us, secret shop their clients, and a lot of people don't call their leads. So it's don't spend your last money. If it's going to stress you out, just don't do it. It doesn't mean you shouldn't invest, but there's plenty of options. So number 6 is have an intake process. So can't stress the importance of this. Actually, the media buyer that I work with, the guy that does my Google ads, he worked at 2 immigration firms in Texas. One of them, for example, had a really nice intake process, and one of them didn't. They ran the same campaign for him. They both got about the same leads, same cost, same spend, everything. One of them took in 18 clients their first month, 18 cases. These are real numbers. The other one took in 1. So that intake process is going to be really important. Then it also just shows the marketing company that you're serious. Because most marketing companies aren't profitable for about the first 2 or 3 months working with somebody, and there's really not much in it for them if they don't retain you. So having this intake process is really just going to be how they're going to know that you're actually taking this seriously. Is when you have an intake process, when you track leads in a CRM, when you're accountable and call people back. Those little things make a big difference. Then also it's a lot nicer for the leads themselves because they're not just guessing all the time. You're not sending them random bits of information or waiting really long to hear back from you. They feel appreciated. It makes them feel like they're making a good decision because at the same time, if someone's finding you online, particularly through online ads, there's a good chance they're going to a lot of other people's online ads to do it. If they're going to Google, clicking on your site, there's a good chance they're clicking on the other sites at the top of Google or going through SEO and everything. So that intake process is really going to set you apart because it's going to make them feel like you really know what you're doing too. So that's a really big part of it. And number 7 is just take responsibility. It's your business. At the end of the day, if you're going to invest money into hiring somebody, it's just decide that it's still your responsibility to close those leads. For example, a client, before I did immigration leads, I did real estate leads. And one of those real estate agents called me recently and was just saying that a lot of the leads they got that didn't close when we were working together, they actually passed them off to the lender and they did quite a few refinances for those people. So granted, you want to take responsibility for your actions and your business and everything. There's nothing a marketing company that can do that'll fix severe internal issues for you. If you have an employee that's very negative and doesn't want to change, or if you're having issues with your spouse or something that can really impact your business, that's not necessarily their issue. So really take responsibility for the success of that campaign and everything. Double down on it. It's a good chance those immigration or those marketing companies have a lot of resources to help you, and also be ready for it. If you have a sales team, sales train them. If you're if you're building this business out, have a good organic presence. It's much like this, for example, you might actually be watching this video inspecting my company. And so, for example, videos like this really help stuff. So, if you really want to succeed with a marketing company, you're not going to be able to succeed on nothing but talent. So really just take responsibility, push forward. Your team wants you to succeed. That marketing company wants you to make money. At the end of the day, there's granted, there are a lot of marketing companies that people aren't happy with. A lot of that is, I found, just because of lack of communication of needs of the company from what we had talked about earlier. So take responsibility for it. There's yeah, just take full responsibility. It's your business and everything. Just like, for example, the marketing company, if they take a risk and work with you, they they're risking other clients because there's a good chance they're going to sign a non-compete with you or sign an NDA, and they're going to have to say no to other projects working with you. So that's the thing, though, is like they're taking a risk on you too. Like, for example, when we work with a company, like if we don't work with another company in the same area, we're then saying no to thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of in business from other companies just to work with this company. And if they don't really take the responsibility and they quit, it's not really worth it for us. So really make a point. Have those. Those are the 7 tips to working with a marketing agency or really any freelancer. I mean, I think this applies a lot to just working with any type of outside help. And then the next thing is what to do next. If you really found this helpful, feel free to book a call with us. We do work only with immigration firms, but if you do want just a few tips on how to automate your business, that is something we can talk to you about. We're only intaking immigration firms and lawyers, though, or people in that niche. So feel free to do that. I'm going to stick a link to book a call on our calendar below. Please feel free to book it. There's also more information on our website, immigrationfinder.com, immigrationfinder.com-schedule, or calendar.immigrationfinder.com are the links to get to our calendar. You can book the call. It's totally free. And yeah, I look forward to talking with you guys. So these are the 7 tips to work with a marketing agency. If you're, for whatever reason, you want more of these, if you have more questions, feel free to leave a comment, and you're welcome to subscribe as well if you'd like more videos like this. Thank you.